Lewis Hamilton has just delivered a performance so remarkable, so unexpected, and so emotionally charged that it's already being hailed as the defining moment of his Ferrari journey so far. What started as a weekend of disappointment, a qualifying nightmare and mounting pressure on the Scuderia, turned into one of the most spectacular comebacks of the 2025 season. And he didn't just claw his way up the field, he overtook his own teammate. He silenced the doubters. And in front of tens of thousands of stunned tifosi, he proved once again that you can never count out Lewis Hamilton. This comeback wasn't a lucky result. It wasn't born out of chaos or coincidence. It was methodical, ruthless, strategic. And it left Ferrari, and especially Charles Leclerc, absolutely speechless. But before we unpack every layer of this race, from Hamilton's disastrous Saturday to his flawless execution on Sunday, do us a favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stick around until the end. Because this drive wasn't just about positions. It was about pride, power, and a warning to the rest of the grid that Hamilton is far from done. Let's go back to the start of the weekend. Friday looked somewhat promising. Both Ferrari drivers reported decent balance in FP1, and Hamilton in particular hinted at a step forward. But when Saturday arrived, everything unraveled. The SF25 once again struggled in the cold conditions during qualifying. Ferrari failed to get the tires into the right operating window at the critical moment, and both Hamilton and Leclerc were shockingly eliminated in Q2, in front of their home crowd, in front of the press, in front of the world. Hamilton was set to start P12, Leclerc just ahead. For a team that came into the weekend hoping to close the gap to McLaren and Red Bull, this was nothing short of a disaster. And the body language inside the Ferrari garage said it all. Heads down, arms crossed, radio chatter tense. Another home GP looked like it was already slipping through their fingers. But Lewis Hamilton doesn't do defeatism, not quietly, and certainly not when there's still a race to run. As the lights went out on Sunday, Hamilton wasn't just trying to score points. He was trying to change the narrative. And from the very first lap, he looked like a man on a mission. Imola is notoriously difficult to overtake on, but that didn't stop him. Every opportunity he found, he took. Clean, aggressive, precise, no contact, no hesitation. Within the opening 10 laps, he was already slicing his way through the midfield with surgical efficiency. Meanwhile, chaos was unfolding up front. Verstappen launched a bold move into Tamburello to snatch the lead from Oscar Piastri. McLarens were caught in a strategic web, trying to undercut Red Bull, but losing time during a painfully slow pit stop for Piastri. That set the tone for the race. Opportunities would appear, but only for those ready to seize them. Hamilton, despite not being in podium contention early on, continued applying pressure. His tire management was flawless. He kept his medium stint long and stable while others began to fade. Then came the first twist. Sainz pulled over with a mechanical failure, bringing out a virtual safety car. Ferrari took the chance to reposition strategy, and Hamilton suddenly found himself just outside the top 6. Then, a few laps later, everything exploded. Kimi Antonelli's engine failure brought out a full safety car on lap 46, and the field bunched up for what would become a 10-lap sprint to the finish. Verstappen was vulnerable. The McLarens were edgy, and Hamilton? He was licking his lips. When the safety car peeled in, Hamilton went to work. He pounced on Alex Albon with confidence, catching him in the run to Rivazza and forcing an error. But the real shock came just moments later, when he began reeling in Charles Leclerc. The Monegasque driver had been Ferrari's golden boy for years. Imola was his track. He'd always outqualified Hamilton here, but in those final laps, he simply had no answer. Hamilton found grip where there should have been none. He placed his car perfectly, used DRS when it mattered, and executed a clean, devastating pass that left Leclerc trailing. Let us know in the comments. Was this Hamilton's most important drive in red? Was this the moment he truly arrived as a Ferrari driver, not just in name, but in presence and performance? After weeks of questions, setbacks, and growing frustration, did this race show the world and the team that he's still the fiercest competitor on the grid? And what about Leclerc? Should he be quietly concerned, not just about this result, but about the broader shift in dynamics within Ferrari? For fans of the Scuderia, this race will no doubt have stirred conflicting emotions: pride in Hamilton's determination, concern over Leclerc's positioning, and perhaps cautious optimism that the tide might finally be turning. Because for all the pressure, for all the doubts and headlines, what we saw in Imola wasn't just a performance, it was intent, a glimpse of what Ferrari could be if everything clicks, if the car evolves, if the internal chemistry strengthens, if Hamilton's experience and Leclerc's speed can be aligned, not divided.